Key point 1. Your decisions determine your path in life. No one will tell you where to find your passion. If you eventually get started, there's self-doubt and many other internal and external factors to overcome. The truth is that when you feel fear and many different types of resistance, you're on the right path. Doing new things will change your life when you step outside your comfort zone. You don't have to change everything at once. One step at a time is good enough. It's okay to start with what you have. You don't need to quit your job or leave your family. As you may have read or heard, you can improve your life in small stages once you're truthful with yourself and willing to act. You don't have to try and figure things out or force process. Henry Gentilla. In 2009, Henry Gentilla started a blog called Wake Up Cloud. He soon discovered that people wanted to know what fueled his passion for following his dreams. It inspired him to focus more on his passion and then share his story in more detail to help others. So if you need help finding out what you're good at or what your passion truly is, you can find answers here. It would help if you took the time to explore information slowly and answer every question. Doing this will unearth insights that'll keep you on the path to success and reveal the barriers stopping you from achieving your dreams. Keep studying to discover the questions that can help you recognize your passion. Key point 2. What does a passionate life mean to you? To understand how a sure thing, device, or system works, you must first know its name. To teach us how to use a spoon, adults first tell us the name of this object, and only after its features and other details. In other words, one must begin with a definition. It works with passion as well. But the peculiarity is that each of us has our definition of this concept based on individual experience, aspirations, and desires. However, we only sometimes know about this and rely on the experiences of others. For example, in childhood, we observe how our parents devote their lives to their careers, and we conclude that the meaning of life is to strive for new achievements. But finding your passion is about honesty. Ask yourself, what does it mean for me to live with passion? This question will help you get rid of illusions and unreasonable ideas. You may find out that for you, it's not about a career, but about creative realization, travel, or the opportunity to look at the sky and the stars. Passion and enjoying the moment are not the same thing. Enjoyment is only temporary. Passion is an everyday attitude to life. In any case, living with passion means finding the source of your inspiration. It's also about feeling in your place and being in the flow, waking up with a desire to live the day and discover new things. Of course, it doesn't mean any more difficulties in your life. The difference is that you will have the strength to deal with them. Understanding what it means to live passionately may be challenging. It is normal. As a rule, we must face many attitudes and misconceptions before finding the truth. It can take a lot of time, but it's worth it. Try to write down your guesses. Note down everything that comes to mind on a blank piece of paper. You may encounter internal resistance and be distracted by everything around you. Gently bring yourself back to your task. Ask yourself an auxiliary question. What is a sign that I live passionately? It is far from material things, but about developing and improving. New opportunities and ways are a symbol of a passionate life. Key point 3. Determine which ideas are fundamental to you. Consider how you'd behave once you start living a passionate life and everything seems perfect. Additionally, ask yourself what is stopping you from living like that. Asking yourself questions means you regularly get in touch with your feelings. It's important to remember that passion is only a word that means something more and hides essential senses. Write down everything you'll do when you find your passion. Refrain from forcing yourself to give only the correct answer. Write down everything that comes to mind, even if it seems like it could be more objective. You can say, when I find my passion, I will finally surf, or whatever you have in mind. If your brain starts to feel overloaded, it's a sign that you're changing your thought process and making a tremendous effort. We can compare regular questions to physical training and muscle pumping. At first, it's difficult and painful, but you become stronger and more resilient each time. An essential part of a passionate life is our way of thinking. Our attitudes and beliefs are critical. Our vision of the world rests on them. They can be helpful. For example, when we believe that we deserve love or that everyone is born to be happy and healthy. But not all beliefs are fundamental. Suppose you have a firm idea that you can't sing. Most likely, this opinion comes from childhood. Perhaps an adult said that you have no talent for singing, or one of the children teased you about how you sing. In the end, you believed a bear had stepped on your ear. In your adult life, you had the opportunity to meet an excellent vocal teacher. He taught you techniques and opened your voice. And now, you're singing in front of an audience that applauds and admires you. So, was your belief justified? Not all views that seem usual are correct. Your power is to choose what to believe and what ideas to lean on. Ask yourself what's holding you back from a passionate life. It'll help you identify false beliefs. Key point 4. Discover your personality type and your fears. Finding your passion means getting to know yourself deeply. Who am I? What do I love and what scares me? Personality tests can be an excellent tool for finding answers to these questions. You can use different tests, but they must be more than just amateur. Check the author's academic rank and better search for professional samples. Try to use tests, but take the results not as 100% information, but as an aid. You'll see that you have both strengths and weaknesses. You may even feel disappointed, but weaknesses only confirm that you have considerable talent in something. We often underestimate our strengths and think that if something comes easily to us, others do not struggle with it. If, for example, you sense trends and your ideas are always relevant, then this is your unique ability, which not everyone has. Our task is to identify our strengths and learn to use them appropriately. And it doesn't necessarily have to be related to professional activity. Maybe you have special cooking skills but work for a construction company. Pay attention to what you devote your free time to. It can give you a hint about your passion. Notice what advice your friends ask you for. For example, they understand that you can do it well if they ask you to pick them clothes for a date. After all, it may turn out that you already have a passion, but you don't notice it. Your fears can also tell a lot about your interests. Anxiety is not born when we don't care. For example, if you're afraid to go to an interview at a particular company, you probably want to work there. Or if you're scared to go on a date with someone, it indicates your sincere desire to continue communication. Imagine how you would behave if you knew you could never fail. If you feel scared, allow that feeling to pass. Then start implementing your decisions. You'll realize your true dreams when you think of what you'd do if failure were non-existent. Conversely, you should ask yourself, what would I do if I were sure of my success? Feel free to dream as big as you want. Note everything you do if a genie granted your one-night wishes. Did you know? In the early 1960s, Catherine Cook Briggs and her daughter Isabel Briggs Myers created the Myers-Briggs personality test. Key point 5. Use past interests to determine future ones. Sometimes our passion is just in front of us. We cannot see it because we've gotten so caught up in the stress of daily activities. It's similar to when you can't find a thing you need, such as your favorite sweater. You're sure it should be on the shelf to the left, but it's not there. You get angry and frustrated until you decide to take a coffee break. Finally, you remember moving the sweater to another closet section while cleaning a few days ago. So, what has changed? Why do you remember where the sweater was? It's about taking a break. It's the same with looking for passion. You need to relax and remember what usually excites and inspires you. If you've explored your interests before, do it again. Please do not focus on your feelings and don't analyze them. Write down your thoughts on paper. This is how the free flow of thinking works when your subconscious gives clues. How can you know you've arrived if you don't know what you're after? Henry Juntilla. At this point, you must also ask yourself what you want. Maybe people told you your dreams are impossible, so you had to settle for something more practical. However, when looking for your passion, you should listen more carefully to yourself and not to the advice of others. Those hidden dreams are valid, and you don't need to listen to anyone who tries to deny that fact. Imagine living in a world without limits where you can do anything. This method may bring you closer to the answer you're looking for. It is counterproductive to answer all the questions simultaneously. Take breaks. You can use these prompts to ask yourself more questions. As a child, I dreamed of, if I had unlimited possibilities, I would. I feel a surge of strength when. I want to contribute to the world by. An activity that I could do even for free is. Writing what you think about in the middle of the night is okay. Your ideas could be the next big thing, and you want them to stay in your mind. Key point 6. Know what you don't want to make the right choices. Ask yourself why you don't like some things. Be more detailed with your answers and write down what makes you feel overwhelmed, sad, or overly tired. Try to answer as completely as possible. If you think you've listed all the possible reasons, give yourself time and try again. Analyze every detail. The deeper you go, the more you learn about yourself. Getting in touch with your inner voice requires a lot of attention. Sometimes life can get so tricky that one may be inclined to give up. Imagine that you have already despaired. How do you feel? Has the whole world collapsed? Do you have the power to start over? Everyone has an inner GPS ready to guide them when they're tired and ready to give up. Remember your reasons for starting if you feel like quitting. Just try not to take life too seriously while working on your goals. You may feel like the world is against you, and at this point, it's essential to come to terms with reality. You can't control everything, but you can give yourself time to breathe and move on. Sometimes we don't realize that rest is all we need. We get so used to our daily chores and responsibilities that fatigue recedes into the background. We get used to not resting. Just try to put everything aside now and relax your body. Where exactly is your tension? You need to spend 10 minutes on this. Save your time. Listen to your tiredness. Ask yourself, what is my inner voice whispering? Finding answers to this question can show you hidden gems within your mind and allow you the opportunity to relax. During childhood, it was easier to come up with ideas of what you wanted and to pretend to be someone you're not. Now, it's a little more complicated. But what if you can gain insight into your goals if you pretend to be something you're not? Imagine you already know your passion. Doing this will give you a clue. This method allows you to dream beyond any limitations and stimulates the creative parts of your brain. Key point 7. Keep moving to find your destination. The thing about change is that it begins with something you are passionate about. If you don't care enough about something, you won't bother changing it. So ask yourself, what makes your blood boil? When you discover what makes you angry, you should ask what you can do about the situation. It'll help you determine the next step you need to take. Certainty is a myth, but you can keep following your heart until you find your passion. When you find the things you're passionate about, you only sometimes stick with them long enough to make an impact. Try to remember the last time you felt in the flow. Sometimes we need to realize that we're already in the flow. This condition can occur in absolutely any circumstance. For example, when we ride the subway and listen to music or help someone deal with a difficult life situation. One of the signs of a state of flow is our absolute immersion in the process. It's a state when you don't realize how time has passed, and you even forget to eat. In a state of flow, we are so involved in an activity that everything else doesn't matter. Observe yourself and your feelings. Where you feel in flow may be your passion. You shouldn't force progress, but you should always try to measure how well you're doing. The longer you spend in your state of flow, doing what you're passionate about, the more you can accomplish. Some may think the work ends when they're successful, but does it? The answer is no. It takes tremendous work to maintain the victorious life you've achieved. This idea can be frustrating and upsetting, but not everything is so terrible. In the process of finding your passion, you'll learn and discover a lot about yourself. You understand to live differently, taking into account your desires and needs. So all you have to do is follow the same path. Continue to listen to yourself. Notice what you're striving for and appreciate new achievements. At some point, you'll face difficulties. Remind yourself that you have overcome them once, so you can do it again. When we recognize our victories and achievements, it gives us support and strength to move on. Conclusion. Nobody is going to live forever. You only have here and now to make all the changes. Now is the time to ask yourself, what would I do if I had just 5 years to live? Having made a list of your wishes and plans, you'll recognize all the essential things you really want. Focus on them and make their realization your goal. We need time to understand what will make our life passionate. It's also essential to get rid of stereotypes about a passionate life. It doesn't mean luxury and the absence of problems. It means a thirst for life. We must realize that finding passion will require regular effort. It doesn't fall from heaven, but is the result of attempts and, of course, failures. But it is a rewarding job. Your life will change when you achieve your goal and play with new colors. Finally, ask yourself, what action can I take here and now? Try to understand how you can improve your life right this second. Try this. 1. Allow yourself pajama days. Let it be a time of complete relaxation when you can only dream and do nothing. Give yourself a chance to recharge. 2. Note down everything you are passionate about changing and see how to take the next tiny step. 3. Take the time to write down all your dreams. Take advantage of every single one, even if it seems silly. After that, choose the 5 most important. It will help narrow your search and motivate you to move.